What is up, Sooner Nation? I am Casey Mellon, and you are now, come on, in a Sooner state of mind. Make sure you like and subscribe on Apple Podcast and Spotify. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything online sports betting. Right now, you can receive a 50% free bet of up to $250 on your first deposit to bet on anything from the Olympics to baseball to Formula One racing. BetOnline has every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. When the game's over, head on over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker or unwind with one of our over 150 slots games. Head to the website today to get in on the action. Use promo code BELIEVE for your 50% free bet credit on your first deposit up to 250 buckaroos. Bet online, the game starts here. On today's show, we recap SEC Media Day, the first for the Sooners. BV rolled through with Danny Stutzman, Billy Bowman, and Jackson Arnold. We will share with you some of the nugs they dropped. Speaking of dropped, a couple of SEC preseason media polls dropped, and I'm pretty sure you're going to like some of it, and you're definitely not going to like some of it as well. Todd Bates makes another addition to complete the 2025 power line. This one at the expense of Tebow and others. Thoughts and prayers. And that pickup is going to stoke out Sooner Nation. And then it's the complete opposite of stoke when it comes to the 2024 SBs. We will tell you why. All of that and more. Sooner Nation, what is good, my people? Summertime has come and gone. My, oh my. I used to hate that as a kid because that meant we were going back to school. But now at the end of summer means football season, and I am here for it. July is almost over. August, right around the corner. That means we are under 40 days until we get the debut of OU football, SEC styles. We ready? You ready? I'm ready. I cannot wait. Can't get here quick enough. Now, speaking of SEC football, I got a chance to chop it up with the dudes on the Golden Boot podcast. They're part of the Believe Network as well. You can go check that out on their site. Those cats have it locked down on LSU. So if you aren't checking out all the content on the Believe Network, what are you doing with your life, people? There's so much good content there. Every team, every topic, everywhere. Believe.com. All right, let's get to it. SEC Media Days just wrapped up. This was the first time the Sooners were part of it. A lot of good sound coming out of Dallas. The Sooner Star Power was on full display. Up first, we had Danny Stutzman. And it was rad. Before we get to Stutz, it was rad hearing Venables talk about the reason Stutz came back to OU. BV said he did have a good enough draft grade to go to the NFL if he chose to do so. But the more that he thought about it, the more he wanted to stay at OU, not only to finish the job, but to lead this program into the next chapter, to be a part of this transformation into the SEC. That mattered to him. That mattered to a lot of the upperclassmen that came back, not just Stutz, but this defense is going to be so much better for him being there. So, like I said, he wanted to be part of that transition. So hopefully he gets rewarded for that. I think he will. Regardless of what happens to the season, he's going to get a year better, and that will make a difference when he goes to the NFL. But this cat, 6'4", 240, big and strong, now in his third year in this BV defense. Also got the BV protege and Zach Alley coming to take over. They love what that dude's about. But I think in regards to Stutz, we are going to see the best and most complete football of his young career And I think he will improve that draft stock with the way he performs this season. And, you know, he knows this defense in and out. He knows what the personnel is. And in the offseason, the Sooners went out and got the big TCU defensive tackle, Demonic Williams, 320. And Stutz was completely in awe of this guy. Couldn't talk him up enough. And that's the type of player the Sooners need in the trenches. We'll get to BV in a little bit, but he kept talking about it. Trenches, that's how you win in the SEC. And we see it, man. They got them big boys up front on the D line, big boys up front on the offensive line. That's where the Sooners have to make a concerted effort to not only get better, get bigger there. And getting a guy like Williams in here, that's a pretty good way to get that going while we're still getting these recruits up to speed, getting them youngins swolled up, messing with Schmitty. So this guy will come in and have a major role on this defense. And Stutz said this guy, Williams, is taking a leadership role as well. And he will help bridge that gap to get the youngins ready. We got Stone and Jackson. We'll see them play this year, but they're still getting acclimated to this next level. So having guys like this in the mix is going to be a good thing. So the Sooners do have a ton of veteran leadership on the front line there. And overall on this defense, almost 80% of its productivity coming back. But Williams is going to be good while that transition happens. Spiraling out of control. We're supposed to be talking about Danny Stutzman, but I can go off on a tangent sometimes, and that's okay because there's a lot to like about this Sooners defense. And Stutz was also talking about PJ Adebawore, 6'4", 240, athletic freak. That's when he came in to the program last year. This year, he's up to 260. Got limited snaps last year. It's going to get a lot more this year. Dude is rocked up. 260. He's put on 20 pounds of muscle in a year. This guy is a specimen. His brother's in the NFL. He's got another little brother coming up. Hopefully, he can get to the Sooners. But Stutz expects big, big things out of PJ. So year 2 in the system, we'll see how it goes. But I think that is definitely a name to look out for. But see, I try to keep it on Stutz, and we're going all over the place on this defense. So let's talk about Danny, because I think one of the things that impressed me most on what I heard from him is this dude gets it, man. He knows what the hell is going on defense, but he seems to have an understanding of the complete picture. The entire team, not only defense, offense too. He knows what's going on both sides. This dude is locked in, eats, sleeps, drinks, thinks, lives football. That's what this dude is. He is a football player. And I know he wants to be that leader. You hear it in his words. He wants that responsibility. And all these young cats, not everybody is at the level that this dude is when it comes to that. So we're getting more than just a veteran leader. We're getting veteran leadership, and that's going to pay dividends. And I also like the way this cat talked about Jackson Arnold, about the leadership he's seen from JFA, man. What is totally clear is that these guys, the team in general, is not scared of hard work. They're all willing to put it in. You hear about it in the way they talk about the team and what they did in the offseason and spring ball and all that. These cats are all locked in and completely committed, and they want the smoke. They embrace it. They want the challenge. They love what's ahead. They know it's not going to be an easy path. They don't give a crap. They want it anyways, and that's a good thing to have from your leaders. And when we found out Stutz was coming back, it made my freaking day. And the only way to be more stoked on that was when we found out Billy Bowman was coming back. And what a gift that this dude decided to come back and finish a job at OU and make another run with these Sooners. One of the most dynamic playmakers on the field, a knack for the big play at the biggest moments. We saw that time and time again last year. The pick sixes, the big plays, the nose for the ball. Dude is just wreaks havoc all over the field, knows what his role is. And this is a smart cat. And I was really impressed by his knowledge of the SEC. And it wasn't only Bowman, all those dudes knew about the players in the SEC. They got deep, not just a couple ones, especially like when Bowman was asked about the quarterbacks in the league. He didn't just reel off, oh, Beck and Milroe. Dude went like 8 or 9 QBs deep. They've been watching film already, man. I'm telling you, these guys are locked in. And we talked about the guys, Williams and PJ, that Stutz thought were going to have great years. Billy Bowman said he expects big, big things out of Peyton Bowen. And he thinks that Bowen can and will be even better than he is. And that's saying something because this dude is one of the best. These guys embrace the leadership and they take it seriously. And they like to take that wisdom and give it to the youngins. So getting these guys back, invaluable. Now on the offense, the reins have gone over to JFA coming to his second year. This guy is wise beyond his years too. Came in and got the bowl game start, some good, some bad, but the way he talked about it in the interviews, he said, you know, he knew it was DG's team last year, so it was kind of weird just to come into the bowl game and kind of take over, especially being so young. But I think everybody saw what he is about. But that's a tough situation. That's a tough ask for anybody to do. But he went in there and he did good. You know, there was a handful of mistakes, of course, but some weird stuff happens in the bowl game anyways. And it was that transition, but that was great experience and having to step in there. And now there is no question on who the leader on that side of the football is. This is JFA's team. He's got great awareness of what's going on, what it is all about, and it's going to be totally different this year. You know, just kind of, I think last year learning on the sideline was pretty good, you know, but he wanted to play, but understood the situation. And this year he's going to get his chance. So he's led this team through spring ball and now getting into fall camp here. I'm really excited to see this guy on the field. He's got all the physical tools. And the good thing is they're going to get about 4 games before he has to go on the road, the 3 non-conference, and then hosting Tennessee, which is going to be a brutal game. But at least he gets the taste of that SEC competition at home before he's got to go on the road, and it is going to be an absolute madhouse down there in Auburn. So I think JFA, man, if he can just eliminate the mistakes, make those good decisions, play within the scheme, that's all the stuff he was talking about, then he's going to be successful. Like I said, all the talent's off the chart, man. And you don't have to make every hero play, especially with this defense. You just got to not make mistakes. And he understands that. And it's just a matter of executing. It's going to have a run game. We get it dialed in up front with the offensive line, and sky's the limit for the offense. But I fully expect the defense to carry this team. But there are playmakers all over that offensive side of the ball. Don't even get it twisted on that. But I keep hammering leadership. All 3 of these dudes embrace the leadership role. Then more than embrace it, they want it. They're hungry for it. They're so dedicated. All 3 of these guys sounded like coaches in their media sessions, you know? So I like not only that, but what Venables is setting up. He's identifying his leaders and he's putting them in positions of leadership. And I think that is going to pay off this year. And 3 of those guys, first team preseason, all SEC. You know it. You love it. That's Stutz and Bowman. And we got a good chance of seeing both of those dudes on that same list at the end of the season. I wouldn't put it past it. Also on the preseason SEC media poll, Deion Burks made 3rd team. I think that cat's got a chance to make it up to the first team. All the talk out of spring ball, we saw it in the spring game. Quick, can run all the routes, can get open, making that connection with Jackson Arnold could be something special. I really dug BV's interview too. He's got some words now. He can get into a lot of them, but when he's talking about football and saying coaching things, dude is on it, man. He is locked in too. And I think his best days as a head coach are still ahead. I think he's very underrated, and I could listen to him talk when he's talking X's and O's for days. Man, the dude, I just love where he's coming from. And when he was doing his media sesh, he said within the first 15 months that this regime took over, they lost 75 scholarship players, transfer, graduation, whatnot. But you look at this team now, they've got 25 guys going into their third year. That means once he got there, the guys that they identified to keep, they did keep. And then when those guys had an opportunity to leave, to pursue other things, they didn't. They came right back to OU. They want to be part of it. So that's big time. Talking about it, starting to recruit like crazy, playmakers galore, starting to build that depth at key positions everywhere, really, but especially where you need it. BV also said this is as deep of a linebacking unit as he's ever been around. That's saying something. BV's been around some defenses going back to the Sooner days at Clemson and now back. For him to put that out there, he doesn't just kind of willy-nilly say stuff. He means it. He wouldn't say that if he didn't. So that made me feel pretty good. He also made me feel pretty good about the corners. Talking about the way he talked about Eli Bowen, little brother. Sounds like dude is going to be an absolute playmaker. It's like, man, he can play press, he can play zone, whatever you want him to do. He knows what to do. He sees it on the field. So I really love what is going on that side of the ball, the type of player they're getting in there, the quality of the player and the quality of the person. But I love it. You know what else I love? One of the things I heard from BV, he said, show up every day with the right mindset. That's a lesson. I think that's some good advice we could all use, right? You can't dictate your situation or how or what is going to happen, but you can always control your mindset. And when you're dealt some adversity, if you can overcome that, that goes a long way. And for me, Venables has a mix of all the right components. Uber detail oriented, obsessed about it, does not miss a thing. I believe we are in the beginning stages of greatness of his coaching and of this program going to a new level. I believe it. I'm not just saying it because I love the Sooners. I hear this guy speak and it blows my mind, man. I am freaking stoked. And when you saw him on set with those SEC guys, I mean, Dusty was up there too, but they were digging it, man. They were buying what he was selling. And I don't think it's an act. I think it's all legit. This guy comes from a tough background, and it's made him the person he is. And we are stoked to have him. And he'll beat up your coach. They get in a fight, he will take your coach down. He's a tough SOB over there, man. I love it. I love it. Speaking of tough, we got a brutal schedule, but I think Venables and this team want that challenge, and they are totally stoked to see how it plays out. And you know what? We don't have to wait much longer. Just a few short Fridays away, people. Are you kidding me? Next month is August. Just a few days away from August. Oh, come on now. Now we've talked about how brutal the schedule is. And I guess this SEC preseason media poll is indicative of that because they are predicting an 8th place finish for our Sooners, right in the middle of the pack. If a few games don't go their way, I suppose that could happen. But I don't see it not going their way. And it's always a cooler story when they don't see the monster coming. Surprise, 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 surprise. That same poll says Texas 2 S's will be second. I might forget a lot of stuff, but I'm pretty sure I remember in OU beating them last year. Yeah, don't forget it, Horns. Of course, they have Georgia first, then Bama, Ole Miss, LSU, Mizzou, Tennessee. This is a deep league, people. We are going to see that on full display. But you know what? A little fuel, that's not a bad thing. Little chip on their shoulder going into the season. I think that's all good. The SEC preseason poll wasn't the only one come out. The Big Ten preseason poll came out too. Ohio State comes in at number 1. That's no surprise there. They got 21 of the 27 first place votes, followed by Oregon, Penn State, Michigan, Iowa, SC, Wisconsin, Nebraska, Rutgers, and then Washington. That rounds out the top 10. Pretty interesting mix. Rutgers up there, huh? We all know this preseason ranking stuff is a bunch of garbage. Or is it? Late kicks, Josh Pate. He didn't put out his Big 12 preseason rankings. He put out his Big 12 championship predictions. Pate has Iowa State and Okie State facing off in the Big 12 championship. That would make it B2B for the Pokes. I don't know if I would go that far. Maybe. But time will tell. I suppose these early predictions make for good debates. Although if it were up to me, there would be no preseason rankings. We would play the first month of the season, and then we would rank the teams. But there's no fun in that. No way to get the people yelling on the Twitters, typing and hating and doing all that stupid stuff. If we made sense, there would be none of that. Even if we did make sense, there would be a ton of that out there. People just, internet's a weird place, man. I don't know. Either way, we're going to find out soon enough. It is right around the corner, people. And I'm stoked. And you know what stokes me out? Good Sooner news. Brian and Kim Kimmery of Bartlesville, Oklahoma have pledged a historic $20 million gift to the University of Oklahoma baseball and football programs. Joe C. announced that on Monday. Said the $20 million Kimmery pledge marks the largest single commitment in OU athletics history. Brings their total support to $25.1 million. That's pretty cool. Second coolest thing about this story is that Brian Kimmery found a girlfriend named Kim and then married her to make her Kim Kimmery. Good stuff. Not as good as a $20 million donation, but makes you wonder, how much money does one have to be able to give away $20 million, man? Wow, that is a lot of cabbage. This latest donation, they're going to give 10 mil to baseball and 10 mil to football. That's their third gift pledged to the OU baseball program by this Kimmery family. Kim Kimmery. They've donated 15 mil to baseball alone. Pretty good stuff. Damn, are we out of good news for the Sooners? No. Let's keep this good news rolling. This one is also 25, not 25 mil. We're talking recruiting class of 2025. Sooners land Miami Central 3-star defensive lineman, 6'2 and a half, 315-pound Floyd Picard. Floyd chose OU over Bama, Miami, and USC. Oh, we can't recruit to Oklahoma. Maybe it is the coaches that couldn't recruit. Now we're talking Trent Wilson, Kamori Moore, Alexander Shield Knight, CJ Nixon. Power line complete, baby. Getting these top defensive players in there, man, it just is nonstop. And that's what I am talking about. There are some recruiters on this defense, the staff, Todd Bates, Jay Valai, Hall, offensive side, Joe John, DeMarco Murray, baby, Seth Luttrell, Bill Beatenbaugh, bringing in the talent. It's good. It's good stuff. Unfortunately, that's where my good news ends. Although we got pretty deep, so that's not a bad thing. Stupid ESPYs. How did OU women's softball team not win for best team? Talking an unprecedented 4 straight national championships, and they weren't the best team? ESPN, more like FU. And I'm sorry, dude. Lamar Jackson catching his own pass. Cool. Lamar's a great athlete. No one is debating that. But that is not the same as hitting a walk-off home run to send your team to the World Series. It's not even close. I don't even know if the Ravens won that game. And it wasn't a touchdown. It was just a little catch. Yeah, cool. Walk-off home run to go to the World Series, man. I don't even think that Lamar catch was better than the other plays in the category. I don't know who votes on this crap, but it's a bunch of crap. It must not be Scottish. Now that I am post-rant, I must confess I didn't even watch the show, but if I had, I would still be angry about it. I'd still give it to my girls because they were dominant. Well, we're getting close, people. The next time our OU Sooners take the field, it will be the first time of members of the SEC where it just means more. And that is also when we host those Temple Owls under the Friday night lights. Coach T, baby, what'd he say? If you know what Coach T said, that's why you're my peoples. Clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose, and I cannot wait. Make sure you like and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music. You do, you will not miss any of the good stuff. I got a sneeze brewing, people. Hopefully I can get out of these last few lines before that sneeze comes. And head on over to Bleav.com. That's BLEAV.com. Go to shows, type in Sooner State of Mind. You are locked. A ton of great content. Every team, every topic, everywhere. Bleav.com. And if you want to watch Sooner State of Mind, head on over to YouTube and search the Football Dudes. We are there. Got a lot of good NFL content from the Football Dudes, too. Subscribe to it all. Just eat it up. Nom, 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 nom. Sooner State of Mind is brought to you by BetOnline. My name is Casey Mallon, and I am in a Sooner state of mind.